What is up, my kindly Cat Mojo Tears? It is your friendly neighborhood, ever-loving Cat Daddy Jackson Galaxy here with you today. I'm being over-the-top friendly because today's topic is aggression. I think aggression is something that we have to talk about when it comes to cats, not because it happens with all cats and not because all humans will experience it, but it can happen. And when it does happen, I want you to be as well-informed as you can be so that you can find the solution. So it's all about taking the fear out of cat aggression from the human standpoint and trying to get you to be the best cat detective that you could possibly be for the benefit of your cats and you. Cats are prey predator animals straight in the middle of the food chain. When they are out in the wild, that fight or flight mechanism is paramount to their existence and their survival. They always have to have their head on a swivel in order to survive. A lot of their wild still exists within them, and sometimes it comes springing out in different ways. If you remember this, that whether it is from an emotional standpoint or just the raw cat standpoint or territorial, it is about a degree of suffering within your cat that causes them to lash out. Keep that in mind. That it's not about just saving your pants or any other part of you, but it's also about making your cat more well-adjusted and happy. And as that goes, so goes a safer home. So let's get going. So today I'm going to tell you about the 8 different types of cat aggression. That's right. 8 different types. If you look in different references, you will see different names for what I'm about to describe, or more or less than the ones I'm going to list for you. This is what has worked for me over the years based on my research and my experience. So there you have that. So the first type of cat aggression that we're going to talk about today is play aggression. Play aggression is basically when the hunter in your cat, don't forget, play equals prey in the mind of a cat. So the idea of attacking something in the course of play is very much built into them. You're walking across your dining room floor and all of a sudden your cat springs out from under the table and attaches themselves to your ankle. You're working at your desk and you're moving the mouse around and suddenly there's a cat glommed on to your hand. It really may hurt a whole lot, and that's why you guys come to me and you say, my cat just attacked me. It's not, it's play aggression. And there's one surefire way to sort of get that done with, and that is to play with your cat. If you've got a cat that exhibits play aggression, if that sounds familiar to you, what I just described, then if you play with your cat on a daily basis and you try to coordinate that play with the times of day when your cat is more or less likely to just pounce on your ankles or pounce on your hands, then you will drain that energy, that hunter energy out of them in a constructive way, give them what I call the appropriate victim, and that way you're not setting both of you guys up for failure. Don't forget, your play aggressive cat sleeps because they're gearing up for the hunt. And then they go. Ankle could equal squirrel as far as they're concerned. And the way we move across the floor, and if they're sitting there under a table, yeah, you get it? I know you do. So anyway, that's play aggression, very common and very easy to deal with. Number 2 on our cat aggression hit parade is redirected aggression. So look at it like this. Okay, I'm gonna set up a little scenario for you. You've got these 2 cats and they're sitting there just, sitting next to each other, looking out the window, watching the world go by, and suddenly in the window, up pops a squirrel. And one of your cats who might be more reactive goes, oh my God. And in the course of going, oh my God, just redirects that aggression onto the other cat, who then goes, what the hell? Why did you do? And then a cat fight happens. You will see it happen to you sometimes. You want to hear double redirected aggression? Squirrel or other cat pops up in the window, oh my God, says one, whacks the other one. The other one's like, well, what just happened? And then there's a cat fight. Now you come into the picture, pick up one of the cats to get them out of the room. Now they redirect on you. Why in the hell did you just attack me? I was just trying to help, and you attacked me because your cat doesn't know who you are in that moment. You are the next thing they have to fight off. They are in fight or flight. It's all about survival for them. And I know that sounds weird because they're in your comfortable house in your living room, but don't forget, it's all about the raw cat. So what do you do with redirected aggression? In that case, I would tell you that you want to have a more vertical place for your cats to look out the window. If they were elevated a little bit, watching out the window, they would see that whatever it is from 100 yards away. And that's how cats hunt more effectively, is they can see something far in the distance. When it comes to you, just remember this. If they holler, let them go. Don't try to pick up your cat when they are in that highly agitated state. You are taking a chance. It is like sticking your hand in the trash disposal and hoping it doesn't turn on. So in that case, you're just going to try to use what I call a sight blocker, something that you can put in between the two cats. I mean, you can even use a couch cushion. I've used flattened cardboard boxes that I just have at the ready just in case something happens like this. And in that moment, what you're doing is you're breaking that visual contact, and you're better able to sort of guide one of them into a safer place. This is that time for a timeout. When your cat's temperature, from an energetic raw cat standpoint, is through the roof, then what you want to do is get them into a quiet, even dark place, let them sit it out for just even a few minutes. Really, sometimes it'll just take a few minutes, and it almost sort of allows them to reconnect with their skeleton, just sort of come back down to this sort of even plane where energy and body are just, and it doesn't take long. Think ahead. Do not pick up your cat when they are in the middle of a fight or agitated like that, and then think about timeouts after the fact. So number 3 on our aggression hit parade today, often it's just called petting induced aggression. Now I will take that and I'll say yes, petting induced aggression, but I will make it a bigger category and call it overstimulation aggression. It's sort of one of the same as far as I'm concerned. So let's start with petting induced overstimulation. There are certain cats who can be pet all the live long day. You just sit there watching TV, you and Chester sitting there, Chester's purring along, purring along. There are some cats where you pet them 3 times and they bite you. But the signs start becoming, their back starts to quiver a little bit, what I call back lightning, or their ears start to flatten, or their tail starts to flick and get to a kind of wagging point, and then one extra touch, and overstimulation is a physical phenomenon, and it has a lot to do with hair follicle receptors and a lot of stuff we won't go into right now. But after a certain amount of petting, and it depends from cat to cat, their nerve endings just start to register pain instead of pleasure. Look for the signs. Know when your cat is telling you that they're getting agitated, and just back away. And the safest thing at all times with cats who've established that they are subject to petting induced overstimulation is to just hang out here. Hang out on the cheeks, hang out on the head, hang out on the neck, right around this area. Once you go past the shoulders into the middle of your cat and their tail in that area, if they're prone to this kind of aggression, that's when they're going to manifest it. So just don't take the chance. Petting induced aggression is part, in my book, of a much bigger thing, which is overstimulation aggression. It can also just be, I'm sitting in a house with all of this yelling going on. The humans are fighting, or we have kids that are running through the house, or I just got chased by someone, or it's just this thing where the entire energy that's around me is just too much, and then the next time someone comes up to me, I bite. Just like with the petting-induced overstimulation aggression, you just want to watch your cat's signs. It's just, I always talk about that cat energetic balloon, that as they go, there's just more and more air in that balloon, and either we let air out of the balloon or it pops. The best thing that you can do is just get air out by getting them to run around and chase an appropriate victim and kill it, kill something. And of course, I mean a toy as opposed to your leg. Take the overstimulation and constructively bring it on down. And you can do that, and it will prevent a lot of overstimulation aggression. So number 4 of the different types of cat aggression is pain-induced aggression. And I couple this with overstimulation aggression and petting-induced aggression. So basically, if your cat is hurting, they're going to be more on edge. Let's say that you just spent a little bit too much time in the sun yesterday, and you're walking around with a wicked sunburn today. Now, of course, nobody can see that sunburn because you're wearing a shirt, and you're already kind of, because every time that shirt rubs up against that sunburn, you're already on edge. And you got a friend, and that friend, for some reason, has to be that friend that every time they walk by you, they gotta slap you on the back. Hey, what's up, Jackson? How are you? How you doing, buddy? And with that sunburn, what's gonna happen? You've all been there, I think. You get slapped, and it's not just you go, oh, that really hurt. Okay, maybe you'll do that once or twice, but at some point they're gonna slap your back and you're gonna be like, Chuck, could you not slap my back? And that's what your cat could be experiencing. So for instance, let's say your cat is arthritic, especially older cats would experience this, and you wouldn't notice it. That petting is going to feel like nails into their skin. And that will cause a reaction, and oftentimes it's that just instant bite or scratch. I have seen this over and over again, especially when I worked in a shelter. There were cats that would come in and they were absolutely fractious. I mean, it would get to the point where we're like, we don't think that there's any way we can put this cat up for adoption. But on closer veterinary inspection, something was up. A bad tooth actually caused a cat to act like they were just Jekyll and Hyde. This cat had an exposed nerve in their mouth. Or maybe it's an abscessed wound because they were out there, they got into a fight and they have an abscessed wound, which makes you feel like you're on fire. So number one thing when you're dealing with something that sounds like your cat, go to the vet. By all means, go to the vet. And it's not just about doing blood work or a urinalysis or things like that we're used to seeing, but it's also about your vet touching and making sure that I can touch hips or back, I can open their mouth, I can look in their mouth, look at everything to make sure that you're not running behavioral circles around yourself when your cat has been raising that red flag and saying, ouch, and shut up, human. Okay, folks, number 5 on our list of types of cat aggression is status-related aggression. And status aggression belongs to the world of the cat that I call the Napoleon complex cat, the one who just feels like, I don't feel like I own anything around here, I don't feel like anything belongs to me, so I'm gonna take it, and I'm gonna keep taking it from you, even if you tell me, go ahead and take it, I don't believe you, so I'm gonna have to take it anyway. So let's say that you've got that cat, the one that I call the beach dweller, the one that is laying in the middle of the floor, oftentimes right in the middle of a doorway. And in order for you to get from your bedroom to the kitchen, or more likely from your kitchen to the bedroom, you have to cross that line. You have to cross by that cat. And more often than not, they get a little upset with you when you try to do that. That's status aggression right there. And that can go for your cats just trying to claim a piece of furniture. For the other cats, if they walk up to that chair and another cat is there, they will chase them away. It can go for things like food or dishes or anything like that. Anything that symbolizes, something of importance within the home, they can do something really annoying like that. And when I say annoying, I mean they could really lash out. It could be very aggressive. Now, whether it's human-related status aggression or cat-related status aggression or anywhere in between, another sort of surefire way that I've been able to approach this over the years is to add more stuff, is to make sure that your Napoleon feels like there's enough things to go around that they don't have to argue over resources, they don't have to guard certain areas. If your cat is guarding the doorway to your bedroom, one of the reasons is because you spend a whole lot of time there and your scent is really strong in there. So let's create another area, like your living room. There's more spaces there. You can invite your cat to hang out on the couch along with the bed. And also another thing you can do is put your scent around different places in the house. A nice thing that I like to do is to take a t-shirt that's already been worn and put it on your cat's tree. The more places that they have to lay, the more beds, the more cat trees, spreading out food supplies so that there's not just bowl on top of bowl, right? If you have 3 cats and you have 3 bowls right next to each other, then that little spot becomes really hyper important for your Napoleon cat, and they might guard it. And there's no way that he can try to defend or she can try to defend all of those little spots at the same time. So increase the peace by just increasing the catification, increasing the environmental enrichment. That's sort of a surefire way of getting your status-related Napoleon cat to just relax a little bit. Number 6 in the cat aggression hit parade would be territorial aggression. Now, I know that there might be sort of a skinny line here between status and territory, but let me try to widen that line just a little bit. Territorial aggression, by now everybody knows that cats are territorial animals. That is just something that is just baked in to their evolution over the years. They protect what they have fiercely, by and large, from a historical perspective, to protect their food supply, to say, I know that I can hunt in this area right here, and by the way, I can reproduce in this area, I can own this area, this is mine. And if somebody comes in here, there's going to be hell to pay. And that in its very essence is the root of territorial aggression. Now, how does that play into our cats at home? So for instance, let's say that you have got feral cats who feed around your home, who, and I know we do this in a very well-meaning way, but we feed those cats right outside our home, on our front porch or something like that. Those cats, their scent becomes incredibly strong in that area. A lot of those cats will pee around that area because what are they doing? They're marking what now they perceive as their territory, you know? So oftentimes there will be a cat outside your window. Your cat inside the house goes tearing towards that window or the screen door or whatever and just starts ramming that thing. If it's put to me, Jackson, what about this? What about if cats are peeing territorially on the perimeters of the house? Jackson, you're right. I hadn't thought about that. Should I actually classify that as aggression? I don't know. I kind of think you might want to. Well, all right then. After I've conferred with my better half, I would say that you could even look at territorial peeing around the house as being aggression. In a way, it kind of is. It's showing those interlopers, the barbarians at the gate, the ones who are threatening my very existence, that this might be my castle, but this is my moat. Let's move on to the other part of territorial aggression, and that happens often when there's a new cat in the house. And your cat may just perceive that this new cat is just there to take everything away from them, to absolutely take apart the sanctity of their territory, and that's where these incredible fights happen. And I know that a lot of you guys who have introduced cats not the right way have seen these ridiculous fights because it's a stranger. There's a stranger in my house who smells like cat, and if they come into the area that I'm in and it smells like them, I am going to go into this primal fear that everything is going to be taken away from me. Whoever tells you that the way to introduce cats is to just bring them on in and let them work it out, they have not had enough cats in their lives. And they'll say to you, oh, yeah, you know, I've done this 100 times before and I've never had a problem. I don't know what the cat guy's talking about. That's what I say. Introduce cats the right way. Do it carefully, because what you're trying to really impart to your resident cat is that nothing is being threatened. That every time they see or smell this other cat, actually good things are going to happen. Positive associations need to be built instead of this let them work it out. Cats are fiercely territorial. If they feel like something is being threatened from a territorial perspective, they are going to go to war more times than not. It's aggression. It's aggression. Territorial aggression. Damn it! Our seventh type of cat aggression is something that we've talked about at length before. Again, take a look at the video over my head right here. Non-recognition aggression. And the example that I use in that particular video is that you take your cat to the vet, and you've got two cats, let's say. You take your cat to the vet, and one cat is left at home. You bring that cat home, and they've been at the vet, maybe they've been there for a while, even if they've been there overnight, something like that. They come back smelling like a whole different animal because they smell like the vet's office. And so if your resident cat, the one that was home all day, smells the cat that went to the vet, doesn't recognize them, it can be game on in that moment. Non-recognition aggression. If you recognize non-recognition aggression, just know that it can be approached, it can be remedied. If you know what it looks like, then you know how to walk it back. And really that's about, like I said in the territorial aggression piece, it's really all about reintroducing your cats in a very logical, step-by-step, non-threatening way. Now, before I get to the eighth type of cat aggression, I'm going to have some honorable mentions. So I really sincerely hope that you're spaying and or neutering your cats, because if you don't, that's when these honorable mentions come in. For females, and I mean, I've seen this time and time again, and anybody who has had a mom with kittens knows that that mom gonna protect their kittens. Not all of them, but because number one, they're not feeling so great, you know, go back to that whole sunburn thing, and but it's a whole lot worse than a sunburn, I'll tell you that. And also that they're just being fiercely protective of their young. If you go in there and you try to pet mom, you try to do anything, then aggression will happen. All mom cats are different, but it's something to watch out for. Then we've got unneutered male aggression. So it's sort of a sexually based aggression. These guys, these cats have testosterone coursing through their system, and not only is their main objective in life to propagate, but it's also to fight off anybody that they perceive to be a threat to propagating. So that's why so many males beat up on other males out in the streets. That's why so many male cats wind up with diseases that come from bites or deep scratches or something like that. Once your male cats have been neutered, this kind of male aggression will just pretty much not be a factor. So our final category of cat aggression is idiopathic. And idiopathic, if you need to know what idiopathic means, well, it's right here. Right there you go. The magic of video. Basically, idiopathic means that there is no known cause for why they're doing it. If we go through this checklist of what could possibly be threatening your cat, and you go through all of them, and you're like, no, that's not it. I could just be sitting there, and I look at my cat, he looks at me, suddenly his eyes dilate, and he's on me. Or we're just sitting there, and suddenly he springs to life and attacks one of my other cats. None of the things are happening that I've listed. There is no threat. There are no cats outside. There are no raccoons or squirrels or anything. I live in a 12-story apartment. There's nothing going on, and yet my cat is exhibiting the signs of territorial aggression. In that case, we have to remember that cats are just like humans in this way. Mental illness is real in animals. It's real. Suffering is real. And suffering doesn't have to be a broken leg. Suffering can be something chemically that's happening in your cat's brain that is giving them information that is not real. Go to your vet, have a real frank discussion with your vet about this likelihood, and consider getting your cat on some kind of psychiatric medication. There are plenty of holistic approaches that you can take to this kind of aggression as well. I've seen great strides taken with certain cats by getting acupuncture, or even cranial sacral work, or using flower essences that I work with. And I'm just saying, from this side to this side and every stop in between, the solutions for your cat's well-being in terms of medicine is like this huge apple tree, and you can pick apples from anywhere on that tree, and something is going to help. So whether that's Eastern, Western, or anywhere in between, then it's worth a try for the sake of your cat's well-being and the alleviation of their suffering. All right, you guys, those are the 8 big types of cat aggression. And like I said at the beginning of this, my hope is that you'll be able to identify what might be going on with your cat or cats. Just don't forget, this is about their well-being. This is about the alleviation of suffering. Even if it's territorial suffering, it's still something that your cat wakes up with and goes, oh, I got to do something. And you can do something about it to some degree or another. And that's what I hope you do. So before I leave you guys, I just want to mention I have spent a long time working with cats, working with their humans, and I'm really proud of all the products that I've either made or gathered up in my store. Whether we're talking about toys, whether we're talking about beds that increase territorial confidence, whether we're talking about my flower essence solutions or my books, all of these things are available at jacksongalaxy.com, so please check them out. I answer these questions and make these videos because you asked me to do it. So leave me something in the comments below that tell me what you want to know about when it comes to your cat, and I will do everything I can to shed some light on it, if I can. And in the meantime, if you've got a friend or family member with an aggressive cat, please pass this video on to them, because there's nothing like aggression to break down that human-animal bond, and we want to stop that from happening before it happens. And don't forget, hit the bell, subscribe, all that. You want to know when the next video is coming out, don't you? Of course you do. I'm not being aggressive. I swear I'm not. All right, until next time, you guys, all light and all love and all cat mojo to you.
Meow.